We are conditioned to associate success with high-speed luxury, the six-figure cars, the penthouse views, the neon-lit nights. A century ago, the archetype of wealth was the industrialist. These figures spent decades building unglamorous empires. Today, that image has been replaced by the lottery ticket. We focus on the multi-million-dollar contract signed by an athlete or the overnight windfall of an entertainment star. This cultural fixation leads to a specific error. We see someone driving a current model luxury car and living in a gated neighborhood, then assume they possess a high net worth. We are observing a high consumption lifestyle, which is often the opposite of wealth. This brings us to the under-accumulator of wealth, or UAW. These are high-income earners, doctors, lawyers, corporate managers, who spend every dollar they make to maintain a polished facade. A massive paycheck is just living high if it isn't retained. Wealth is strictly defined by what you accumulate, not what you spend. There is an assumption that you can spot a millionaire by the label inside their jacket. The myth insists that affluent people signaled their success through expensive, bespoke clothing and high-end accessories. Survey data from actual millionaire households tells a different story. 50% of these individuals have never spent more than $399 on a suit in their entire lives. 1 in 10 pays $195 or less. They achieve this through meticulous household management. They create an annual budget, track their consumption, and live well below their means. A common excuse from high-income earners is that they lack the time to worry about strict budgeting. This pie chart compares the time allocation of prodigious accumulators of wealth against under-accumulators. The prodigious accumulators spend nearly twice as many hours every month planning their investments and studying their financial futures. Under-accumulators spend that time worrying about their economic well-being. A high salary is a strong financial offense. However, building a fortune relies on disciplined financial defense, the ability to limit your outflows. There is a belief that the primary purpose of making money is to display high social status to your neighbors. In reality, the affluent prioritize financial independence. They accumulate a liquid reserve, often called a go-to-hell fund, large enough to maintain their lifestyle for 10 or more years without earning a single paycheck. To maintain that independence, the super wealthy minimize their taxable income. They maximize investments that appreciate in value, without generating a cash flow that the IRS can touch. Consider Ross Perot. With a $2.4 billion net worth, he realized a tiny fraction of that wealth as taxable income. In 1995, he paid an 8.5% tax rate. That is significantly lower than the 31% burden carried by high-earning under-accumulators. When faced with these facts, society often assumes that modern millionaires simply inherited their fortunes, or that they rely on subsidies from wealthy parents. The data shows over 80% of America's millionaires are first-generation affluent. They reject economic outpatient care, both refusing cash gifts from their own parents and cutting off subsidies to their adult children. Prioritizing high-status artifacts and parental subsidies destroys the discipline required to build multi-generational wealth. There is an expectation that getting rich requires navigating a glamorous, high-profile industry, like specialized medicine, corporate law, or big tech. Instead, the data points to self-employed business owners targeting market opportunities in dull normal sectors. They are welding contractors, they are paving specialists, mobile home park owners, and successful auctioneers. They operate highly productive, low-cost businesses away from the spotlight. These individuals share a strict adherence to 7 common denominators of wealth building, from living below their means to targeting specific market opportunities. Because these contractors and auctioneers wear inexpensive suits and drive older, American-made sedans, they don't look the part. Society ignores their highly replicable financial blueprint. True wealth is found by dominating niche industries rather than struggling to maintain the high consumption habits common in high-status professions. We have examined the sociological data of the millionaire class. Now we must look at your own financial habits. While owning a business can accelerate your accumulation, the absolute requirement for everyone is the discipline to live below your means. To determine where you stand, there is a concrete mathematical benchmark you can calculate right now. This formula calculates expected net worth, Multiply your age by your pre-tax annual household income, then divide by 10. If your actual net worth is double that number, you're a prodigious accumulator of wealth. If it's half or less, you're an underaccumulator. True wealth is an invisible measure of accumulated capital. Everyone faces a choice: spend your time trying to look rich or do the quiet work to actually be rich.